What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this recent physique update from Blessing Avodivu. So Blessing claims that he is 320 pounds. Here in this update, the biggest he has ever been throughout his career, and that too by quite some margin. So Blessing is one of those guys who hasn't stepped on any bodybuilding stage for more than 1 year now. And watching all these guys, some of whom Blessing has competed against in the past, winning all these pro shows and getting ready for this year's Miss Olympia. That must have been really tough for him, and that must have been really firing him up as well. Because the thing is, in this current day and age, especially when there is so much importance of social media, making that decision of sitting out of the entire season, that must have been really tough. But the thing is, there is no urgency for Blessing to rush back to the stage, and that is why we won't see him on any bodybuilding stage, at least anytime soon. So the comeback is supposed to happen sometime next year, and Blessing is expecting to see the same results as he did back in 2022, when he came back after taking 1 year off, and he won the Indy Pro as well as the New York Pro. So I have no idea who is coaching him at the moment, especially in this off-season phase, or maybe he is doing it all by himself. Whatever it is, it's definitely working for him. I mean 320 pounds, that is a lot of weight, and judging by his progress pictures, he has been able to stay relatively lean as well, especially for this much weight. And it is pretty simple for Blessing. He needs to bring up his quads in order to qualify for the Olympia, and especially in order to crack top 10 at the Olympia level. Because the thing is, if he doesn't make any significant improvements, very noticeable improvements, especially in his legs, he can still qualify for the Olympia if he enters a show that doesn't have big names in it. Because his upper body is just so damn impressive. But the thing is, he won't be able to place at the Olympia level. Next up is the physique update from Griffin, one of the top 10 Olympians from last year, who also chose to sit out of this year's Miss Olympia, actually sit out of this entire contest season. And the main reason was to rebuild his chest. And how good Griffin must have been that he was able to place top 10 in the world, even with a visible pec tear. And the major reason for that is his conditioning is just always top notch, one of the best in the world. I mean, his conditioning has always been so damn impeccable. He gets extremely dry, and he has a lot of detail, especially in his back shots. They are some of the best in the world, and that too top to bottom. His hamstrings and his glutes are also super ripped. And Charles could have competed in 2024, and he would have qualified for this year's Miss Olympia as well. But the thing is, he himself just wasn't satisfied with how he looked at his last show, which was the Olympia last year. And I must say, his quads and his hamstrings, which were already his very strong points, they became even more stronger, as Charles was hitting legs multiple times in a week, especially when he was going through that recovery phase when he tore his pec. So looking at Charles' physique, especially from the year 2021, he has been a completely different bodybuilder now, especially after that time, when he added the vacuum in his mandatories. And the man just became extremely impressive after that, especially in the front shots as well. Because two of his front shots, the front double biceps and the front lat spread, they were some of his weakest shots before that. And I guess the only thing that he is missing now, that is that wow factor. Because the thing is, he kind of fades, especially in a deeper lineup, like the one we have at the Olympia level, when he's standing next to some big bodybuilders. So Charles started rebuilding his physique right after the Olympia last year. Still, he isn't at 100% just yet, but now he has started training it directly. So in 2025, we are gonna see a lot of comebacks, like James Hollingshead, Charles Griffin, Regan Grimes, and Antoine Violent, and so many others. Because there are almost 10 guys who are missing from this year's Olympia stage who were there last year. So 2025, that is also gonna be one hell of a year, especially in the men's open bodybuilding. Next up is the physique update of a man who was known as the Shadow, 6 times Miss Olympia Dorian Yates. So that's him at the age of 62, still living and embracing that bodybuilding lifestyle. And the man actually looks pretty damn impressive. And that is a true legend for you guys right there. And I am very sure, if you ask Dorian Yates that how would his best do against the current top guys at the Olympia level, he will say that he can absolutely smoke them all. He even said that his best can go toe-to-toe with a guy like Phil Heath and still beat him every single time. Now, I'm not really sure about that. I don't think most of us would agree with that, but still can make a good argument that his 1993 version that will be extremely competitive against any bodybuilding lineup. Just look at those guys he was able to beat with so much ease that year. Flex Wheeler at his all-time best, as well as Sean Ray. So the way Dorian's abs are still showing at the moment, it seems like he still trains his abs very frequently. and he also take a very clean diet. Now, as a big fan of bodybuilding, I just wish that he just did not retire back in 1997. Or in other words, he did not have to retire, because we could have seen him go up against one of the best bodybuilders of all time, the 1998 version of Ronnie Coleman. But the thing is, the way Dorian Yates trained throughout his career, that was bound to happen. But still, the man is gonna be a legend forever. Next up is the physique update from Kristian Zagarella, the Toronto Pro 212 champion from this year, and one of the most classic looking physique in this year's 212 Olympia lineup, right after Keon Pearson. So Kristian is making his Olympia debut this year. And honestly, I have to say, I do not see him placing very high at his first ever Miss Olympia, because the judges are pretty clear with their assessment, especially when it comes to Kristian, that 212 isn't all about beautiful lines, especially when we have all these mass monsters, guys like Ahmed Ashkenani and Angel Calderon, who have immense amount of muscle, and not just that, insane level of density and muscle maturity and thickness. So Kristian also needs to be thicker, or else he doesn't stand a chance. So we actually did saw one-on-one comparison between him and Ahmed Ashkenani 2 times last year in the post-Olympia tour. And Kristian was actually so damn pleasing to the eye. He was so aesthetic, such beautiful and classic lines. But still, Ahmed Ashkenani outmuscled him by a lot. And the judges actually favored Ashkenani's physique, and he won both those shows quite comprehensively. So let's just hope that Zagarella continues to put on some more quality muscle mass, more size on his frame with every passing year, as he has been doing this for the past few years. And some of you guys may not know this, that he was competing in classic physique just a few years ago, and he was actually able to beat Wesley Withers at the Arnold UK back in 2022. But his physique has transformed so damn well after switching over to the 212. So let's see how he does in his first ever Miss Olympia in the 212. Next up, we have an update from the beast, Akim Williams, about 20 days out of this year's Miss Olympia. The guy with the most underrated arms in the men's open at the moment. And the guy who can also be the dark horse going into this year's Miss Olympia. Because we all know, Akim has the size, he has the shape, he has those massive quads, very small waist, big arms, one of the craziest looking side shorts, and both of them, side chest and the side triceps. So why he isn't in any of the discussions for this year's Olympia top 10? Just because of one shot, the back double biceps? Well, apparently yes. And also people have their doubts, especially in regards to his conditioning and how he will show up at this year's Olympia stage in 20 days time. Now most of us believe that the best days of Akim, they are behind him now. And that is in reference to the Olympia 2020, when he was able to crack top 6. And there is just no way in hell Akim can finish in the Olympia top 6 now. And I am very sure that most of you guys do not even have him in your Olympia top 10 for this year. But still, I have to say, after what we saw from Akim Williams at this year's Arnold, with the kind of look that he was able to bring with Chris Aceto, I am very hopeful that he can surprise a lot of us. Now, if he brings the conditioning, I am sure he won't be overlooked. I mean, back at the Arnold this year, the judges had him in 7th place after the prejudging, and he was able to jump 3 places at the finals. So that is the physique that Akim needs to beat at this year's Olympia stage. Now, Akim cannot beat a guy like Rafael Brandao. Neither can he beat Martin Fitzwater, assuming all these guys bring their 100%. Now, if Martin and Rafael, they are in 8th and 9th spot, then their 10th place, that is up for grabs. So what do you guys think? Can Akim crack top 10 at this year's Miss Olympia? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.